to get over to the left past the construction barrels. The sign says left turn lane closed. They're not talking about Route 90. They're talking about further up the way. I don't know why they have that like that, but just be aware. You can't make the left on northbound coastal from northbound coastal to Route 90. Looks all right in Wycomico County on 50 from Willards to Pittsville to Walsall Switch Road and Hobbs Road. Business 50 and Business 13 in town moving along. Sussex County, big roads moving 13, 113 and Route 1. Usual volume on Route 24 in Millsboro approaching Route 113. In Fenwick Island, it's going to be construction near Harpoon Hannah's Dukes Road between Route 54 and 142nd Street. They're going to shut it down next week for gas line installation, so just plan around that. That's your traffic for the Voice Radio Network.
Stephen Krueger.
Hello. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's Bill and Jessica, Power 1017. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Hey, good. Thank you so much for checking in. We appreciate it. For people who, don't know who you are, they will when I say the originals, Good Trouble, NCIS, Pretty Little Liars. The list goes on and on. Hawaii Five-0, Goosebumps. Man, you've done a lot.
Well, it's been a long career, slowly but surely.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And, congratulations on all your success with Yellowjackets, Emmy nominated, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that was a pleasant surprise. I'm not sure anybody anticipated that, but you never turned down an Emmy nomination.
All right, so the show airs on ShowTime, so kind of give us a rundown. People maybe not have seen Season 1, what the show's all about, and what we can expect on Season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So the show is essentially about a team of high school girls soccer players that gets into a plane crash on their way to a national tournament back in the 1990s, and they are stranded in the wilderness up in the Canadian Rockies for about a year and a half before they're eventually rescued. At least the survivors are rescued, and then the show kind of flashes back and forth between that 1990s timeline and then 25 years later to the present day when the few survivors are all grown up and in their mid-40s now, and they're still kind of dealing with the repercussions of what happened out there in the woods and all the secrets that they've kept and lies they've told about what happened out there. So that's the premise of the show. That's kind of what we dived into in Season 1. And then Season 2, it's always hard, I think, coming back for a second season when you've had a successful first season, because you just feel the weight of those expectations every single time you step on set. And I know that the writers felt it, the actors felt it, everybody around the show was very aware of that pressure throughout the entire time we were filming Season 2. So what I will say about Season 2 is I think that the writers of the show did an incredible job of pushing the envelope just far enough so that it's not a repeat of Season 1.
Right.
It goes absolutely crazy in Season 2, but it's all rooted in the real authentic story and the characters that are involved. So everything feels very real, and it's pretty bone-chilling, the stuff that we get into in Season 2.
Talk to us about your character in the show.
Yeah, so I'm actually with the teenage girls in the 1990s. I'm the coach of the soccer team, coach and one of their teachers. So I crash out there in the woods with them. And poor Coach Ben Scott, he's got a lot going on. I mean, he's the only adult with this group of young teenage girls. He also is dealing with, this isn't too much of a spoiler. This happens very early on in the series. He's dealing with a traumatic leg amputation as a result of the plane crash. So he's down one leg.
Wow.
And he's also harboring a pretty closely held personal secret throughout most of the first season as well. So there's a lot that he's got to juggle, and it doesn't always have the best outcome, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is that, you're telling us this, we watch the show and all that, like a lot of this stuff, you're like, oh, well, this could never happen in real life, but it probably could. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and in 2023, you think to yourself like, oh man, this is all like, fiction but we hear so many like freak accidents and stories and things that happen. This could be based on a true story if it was, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, to be totally honest with you, I think a lot of us read the initial script, that very first episode years and years ago, and that was my first instinct anyway. I thought, wait a second, is this based on a true story? Because it sounds like this could potentially happen. And I mean, it's not necessarily based on it, but it's not all that different from that story from back in the 70s. They made a book and a movie about it called Alive, about the I believe it was a Peruvian rugby team that crashed in the Andes Mountains down there, and they had to survive for several months out there before they were rescued. So it's not really too far-fetched. And a lot of the things that we go through out there, you put people into those extreme circumstances, you never know what they're going to do.
Right. No, man, absolutely. I also see here that you have done some directing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually it's a little bit ahead of where I'm at. I'm just now starting to dive into directing. It's something I've been interested in for a number of years now, just watching, being on set all these years and watching how directors work. It's something that's always kind of intrigued me. So
yeah.
I'm now in a position in my career where I can afford to kind of, take some time and fold directing into the mix. So I'm working on a short film right now, and I'm going to be directing that over the next 6 months or so, and then we'll kind of see where that goes. I mean, acting is always going to be my first love. That's something that I'll never stop doing. But you see so many actors these days who also like to jump behind the camera and direct projects that they're both in and not in. I mean, Ben Affleck is a great example. Ben Stiller. These people they're just kind of expanding their craft. So
and now
that's on the
Krueger.
horizon for me as well.
Yeah, now Steven Krueger. I was getting ready to say that you've seen lately, like more than not. We've talked to a bunch of actors and actresses who now have kind of moved over to directing, or they're doing both now. That must be like the thing. People like directing. They like being in control behind the camera. I mean, good for you. Congratulations. That's great.
Well, thank you. I think it does. Some actors you talk to and they really have an interest in getting behind the camera, and then others you talk to and they say, "Why in the world would you ever want to do that?" That just sounds like a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah, right. Wow. Well, look, we've seen you over the years in so many different shows and series and stuff like that. Anything else that you're working on that we're going to see you? I mean, I know the new season is just starting. Yellowjackets on ShowTime, but anything else that you're working on? Any projects?
As of right now, we're getting ready to start shooting season 3 sometime later this year as well.
Oh, nice!
Between this short film and season 3 of Yellowjackets, that's taken up quite a bit of my time.
Yeah, when you were talking about coming back with season 2, and then now talking about season 3, that it is sometimes a challenge for writers and directors and all that to be able to like come up with something else. Like you get through season 1, you get to where like you feel like as a viewer you feel like, all right, what else can they do? What else can they show that'll get you like that last season? Have you ever seen the show You on Netflix?
Yes.
That's kind of similar. That's kind of similar because after the first season, it's like, all right, what else can they do that'll get you hooked and so shocking? And then when it comes back with another season, you're like, oh my God, yes. And then they come out with a third season. Oh my God, yes. Same thing with Yellowjackets.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think luckily for us, in our case, the two writers, Ashley Lyle and Bart Nickerson, that created the show, they actually had a 5-season plan when they conceived of this show in the first place. So even though a lot of times I think it seems like to the audience, are they just making this up as it goes along? With our show specifically, I mean, yes, of course, a lot of the nitty-gritty details they're kind of coming up with as they go, but they really do have a broad overall arc of where they want this story to go and how they see it ending after 5 seasons. So we always kind of know that we're in good hands with people that have planned this out from the beginning.
Nice. Steven Krueger, check him out. Showtime's Emmy-nominated series, Yellowjackets. Look, if people want to follow you on social media, want to look you up, how can they do that?
I am at Stephen A. Krueger pretty much everywhere you can go.
Very good. Thank you so much for checking in, my man. You have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Bill and Jessica. Good talking to you.
When you're out having fun in the sun,